pick up a 27-10 win at North Carolina Central. Never trailed in that game. What impressed you with most about the way your guys played?
Yeah, I think just, able to get that continuity and play complementary football. We had a lot of uncertainty going into that game and who was going to play, who was going to start, what type of rotational patterns we were going to have on really all three phases. So I think some new transfers stepped up, some guys making their starts for the first time did a really nice job. We played off one another, controlled the clock. I thought defensively, they certainly started the game extremely fast and finished strong. They kept the offense in it. We were a little stagnant the first couple drives. We were able to get a blocked field goal early that got us the momentum, went down, got a field goal ourselves, and then we're able to kind of keep that lead and extend it as a win. So I thought we stuck together, played off one another, and just really happy with able to go 1-0.
When you go on the road with so many unknowns and such a young team, as a coach, you got to have some questions about how this is all going to go. When and at what point did you realize, hey, these guys are dialed in, got composure, and we can handle this moment?
I think it was, going into the second quarter, I think they battled. We had a little adversity early and they stuck with it. They stuck together. And I think the message we had the night before is we want to go, attack success in this game and not be afraid to fail. And I think sometimes, when you haven't played a lot and you don't have that experience, the moment can be a little big. The lights are extremely bright. But for the most part, I think we really handled ourselves and I was proud of them. I think a lot of that goes to the coaching staff and how they got the guys ready. And then, the senior leadership and the guys that have been here and played meaningful snaps did a really good job calming the nerves of the young guys.
Question for you from Roger Brown. Good morning, Roger.
You're on mute, bro.
Coming now.
Yep.
Could you talk a little bit more about the defensive effort, Rick, considering all the new faces? I don't know if surprised is the right word, but I'm assuming you were very impressed and maybe, a couple of guys that really impressed you from that effort.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You got to give Coach James and the whole staff a ton of credit and their continuity. I mean, new coordinator. I think we had 3, 4 new coaches this offseason, right? So the staff was trying to figure that whole dynamic, trying to figure each other out, and they did a really good job getting the guys to play hard. I think we played 10 or 11 guys up front. Started 2 linebackers that had never played before, really rotated in 4 guys at the second level that this was their first time playing collegiately. And then at the third level, I think we had 3 different safeties play all 3 spots back there. So we moved the guys around a ton, trying to figure out exactly what our best lineup was going to be for the second half, and that was kind of the game plan. First half, figure out our personnel, see who plays off one another the best, and then go attack it and rip it in the second half. And I think they did a really good job. So we tackled extremely well, pressured the QB. I think we had 3 sacks. Their QB was very dynamic, and I think going into it, career is about mid 60s for his completion percentage, and we held him 13 to 33. So I think from a defensive efficiency, did such a great job of limiting explosive plays, and that team can really run. I think they're as dynamic of a team you're going to find, and they had skill guys at all levels. So just really proud of the effort overall.
And just to follow up, we heard a lot of good things about Trevor from the staff in the off season, and he seemed to be the real deal Saturday. Maybe comment on him if you could, please.
Just poised, playing redshirt freshman middle linebacker, getting his first start. He had 10 tackles. He's the one setting the front. He's the one getting everybody lined up. He flew around, had some passion to him. The thing that excited me the most was just he played free out there. He was calm. The moment wasn't too big for him. You could see it in his eyes from pregame that, he really wanted this opportunity and to take advantage of it because we had some good guys behind him as well. And, as we told all the guys, hey, listen, we're gonna play the best guys, and what you put on tape is ultimately how we're gonna decide what the rotation is gonna be like going forward. So he took advantage of it, and never looked back, and really led that unit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Rick, let's switch over to the offense where Matt Beswick got his first career start. And what a day. He had 186 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air and ran for one and 36 yards. How did you feel like he handled the moment?
I think he did a great job. I think the first couple of drives we sustained it a little bit, but didn't finish with any points. And then on like the third drive of the game, we ran a read option. They blitzed off the edge, and their strike read it perfectly, and he got absolutely crushed. And he goes one or two ways right there. You can either get a little shell shocked and not kind of allow yourself to stay in the moment, or you can kind of, buckle down and go forward with it. And I thought from that moment on, he was lights out, completed a couple really nice deep balls. The improv plays, the unscripted plays, we had five or six where, I thought their D line was really stout and they did a great job getting after us in the pass game. And he got off his spot, improvised. He had a scramble on 3rd and 9 that led to a scoring drive that was really impressive where he dove and kind of got smoked by two or three defenders. So, he had courage, he had poise, he had moxie. And I'm just really proud of him because he's been waiting in the wings for a couple of years for this moment.
That's what I was going to ask you. He's played behind some pretty good guys and had to wait his turn in practice. How do you think maybe playing behind those guys made him ready for this moment?
Well, I think he, coming in and seeing like, his first year, seeing a guy like Max Brosmer and how he prepares. And then last year, obviously losing the battle to Seth Morgan and how good he played. I think it's a testament to his character, his work ethic, and not just running at the first sign of adversity, hitting the transfer portal like a lot of guys do. He stayed with it. He knew this is the place he wanted to be. And when his moment was called, he was going to be ready. So I think it's a testament to who he is as a person, his character, high football IQ, really tough. He's a competitor. And I think he's really stepped up this offseason in terms of his leadership, qualities. And the guys really rally behind him.
I know you talked about, or we talked about last week, how excited you were to have Miles Thomason back. And he certainly played well, 22 carries, 76 yards. Just talk about his night.
Yeah, I thought he made people miss. He was elusive like we knew. I think the offensive line really found their stride in the second half. And, we got to clean up some penalties. I think we had 10 for 110. We probably left 50, 60 yards of rushing on the field with some holding calls. He had, I think, 2 20-yarders called back. So he could have been over 100 yards based on how well he ran. I think he had a 35-yard punt return as well. So he obviously gives us that explosiveness in the special team game. So just, yeah, it was awesome to have him out there.
Let's talk about Saturday night, your home opener against the Holy Cross team that gave Northern Illinois all it could handle last Saturday. Just talk about them and some of the challenges they're going to present for you.
Yeah, I mean, tough, physical, gritty, hard-nosed ball club that knows how to win. Obviously, I think it's 5 or 6, league championships in a row. We know Dan Curran extremely well, being a UNH alum. He's going to get those guys playing hard. And, every time we play them over the last 3 times, it's a 4-quarter bout. So we have to be ready to go. I thought, you look at the opponent they played last week in NIU, 8 wins, a bowl team, beat Notre Dame last year. So that's a really quality opponent to play them the way they did. And, minus a couple mistakes, they should have won that football game. So, we have to be ready for it. I think offensively now, bringing in the transfer Cal Swanson, I think he adds an extra dynamic that they didn't have last year. The QB run game, he's elusive. He can make all the throws as well. They have skill on the perimeter. They've always, the last 5 or 6 years had great, size up front on both sides. And, defensively, they're schematically sound. They don't give up big plays and they don't take a lot of chances defensively. They put a roof on things and make you methodically march the ball down the field. So we have to play clean. We have to take care of the football, have to eliminate some of the mistakes that we had in week 1 if we want to find a way to win.
That was a 6-3 game going into the fourth quarter. What impressed you? You talked about their size, but what did they do so well defensively?
No, they tackled. They flew around. I mean, you just the effort and the strain that they put on tape. I think that's part of their culture. That's part of their DNA. That's how Dan gets those guys flying around. So we know that we need to match that and then some. And it's going to be a physical game for sure. And then, yeah, we got to make our shots when we have the opportunity. And I think they do a really good job disguising coverages defensively. So, we need to do a really good job in film prep this week, making sure that, we know exactly what they're doing on both sides of the ball and go cut it loose and play free.
All right, Rick, thanks so much for the time this morning. Good luck on Saturday.